Welcome back to the APSCC webinar series. I'm Christopher Slaughter, your MC for the series. Today, we return to Indonesia. It's been about 6 months since the last time we had a look at the BAKTI project. We're going to have an update today. And we're also going to be looking at Indonesia as a template for bridging the digital divide. Joining us as the moderator for today's session, Jose Del Rosario from Northern Skies Research NSR. Also joining us is Pak Dani from PSN, Pak Aradea from BAKTI, and Pak Gin from Lintasarta. So those are the panelists. Today's session, though, we're very pleased to announce is brought to you by Arianespace, the launch provider, who have a quick video for us to watch.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Jose Del Rosario. I'll be your moderator for today's webinar, Indonesia, a template for bridging the digital divide. By way of background, in February of this year, the Indonesian Ministry of Communications and Information Technology signed a $2.3 billion contract, $2.3 billion, to accelerate digital connectivity programs, including infrastructure development of base stations, provisioning of satellite capacity, and other programs to the Indonesian Information and Accessibility Agency, or better known as BAKTI. Since 2015, the government has planned construction of the Government Multifunction Satellite, known as SATRIA, and it aims to ambitiously accommodate the need for fast internet services in approximately 150,000 locations across Indonesia. We are joined today by a very distinguished group of panelists. We have Pak Shri Sanggrama and Aradea, Head of Satellite and Internet Access Division for BAKTI, Pak Dani I, Widjanarko, CTO for Pacific Satellite Nusantara, a satellite operator based in Indonesia, and finally, Pak Ginandjar, Alibasjah, Marketing and Solution Director for Lintasarta, which is a service provider in Indonesia. So we have everyone in the value chain and the ecosystem to talk about the digital divide that exists in Indonesia today. So very quickly, Pak Aradea, could you give us a brief background on the BAKTI program's rationale for developing this program and how you envision bridging the digital divide in Indonesia within the time span that's being contracted?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Jose, to introducing us. Okay, I will explain about the Ministry of IT mission toward the digital divided right now. So as you know, we already assigned what you're saying about $2.4 billion big satellite, right? And for us in BAKTI, actually, we have several big project that will cover all the rural area, the unserved area. First of all, we have a project called Palaparing. It's a fiber optic between east to west. And then we have the satellite project. We call it SATRIA right now. So let's talk about the SATRIA. So SATRIA is aiming for serving for 150,000 premises, public service premises right now. That has to be the underline right now, that we're going to serve only public services. That means it's still much gap between the services to the public and our premises. So right now we're going to serve about around 12,000 villages across the country, and hopefully in 2023, when the SATRIA 1 is going to be operate, it's going to be using by the we call it education, health industry, smart village, and all the e-commerce that can use in the rural area. So I think right now our government mission toward the digital divided that been in all the third world country problem, I think in the right path right now. So our affirmative policy toward the ICT is going to be good for the people in Indonesia, especially in the rural area.
Excellent. Okay. Just a quick follow-up. Who will own and operate the satellite?
Right now, we cooperate with actually the guys right here, Dani, with PS, and as the operate entity that going to operate and maintains the SATRIA till 15 years.
Okay. And then who will provision the services? Would it be Lintasarta?
Anyone can provide the VSAT services in downstairs, actually. So according to 150,000 premises is open bid tender to the ESP and the internet provider out there in Indonesia.
Okay, so if I understood it correctly, the procurement, the management, the legalities, etc., is going to be run by BAKTI funding as well. The satellite will be operated, maintained by PSN. And then in terms of provisioning services to end users, that's an open contract where Lintasarta and others can
Yes.
get.
Correct.
Great. All right. Looks like a perfect perfect plan for bridging the digital divide. It's a mix of government and commercial sector. So first, Dani, what do you think of this initiative going forward? Is it the right way to go? I would imagine that pure commercial play didn't really work for decades. We've seen that in other countries and perhaps in Indonesia as well. So with this government program, is this the right way to go with your view?
Yeah, I think solving a digital divide is everybody concern in this community. So especially for a country like Indonesia, which is we are an archipelagic country. So it will consist of thousands of islands. So I think it is the good way from the government of Indonesia to do all the program that just mentioned by Pak Aradea. And just want to give additional information that Pak Aradea just mentioned that PSN has been awarded for this SATRIA program. And this program is the responsibility of the PSN consortium is to provide the satellite itself, launch and operate the satellite for 15 years. Beside that, we also have to provide the gateway, the RF gateway for 11 RF gateway, and to make a connection, then we have to also provide the hubs, the IP hub, the IP processing hub. But for SATRIA program, initially we just provide for 10 gig instead of 150 gig. Just to make the connection, what you call it, the deployment of the service much faster. So we provide the hub. But for the remaining 140, it will be tendered by BAKTI. So according to the rules. So everyone can participate in this program. And yeah, I think that's all from my thoughts.
Okay. Will you be the one spending the capex for the gateways, or is that coming out of the $2.3 billion funding for BAKTI?
Yeah, I think the program that being awarded to PSN is including the gateway, the RF gateway. But for the hub, for the IP hub, is only for 10 gig.
Okay. All right. So just to summarize, if I understood it correctly for our audience as well. So BAKTI will procure a satellite. They pay for the satellite. You will operate the satellite, and you get 10 gigabits that you will provision for services. And in terms of the gateway, that's provided funding-wise by BAKTI as well.
I think just want to rectify your explanation. We procure everything. So PSN consortium procure everything. Procure the satellite, procure the launcher, everything, and also procure the gateway IP hub for 10 gig. And BAKTI will pay us what they call it availability payment every year. So we will get a payment, yearly payment from BAKTI for our services. So after 15 years, everything that we procure and operate will be transferred to BAKTI.
Okay. Are you at liberty to disclose how much the annual payments will be?
Okay, I think it's around 100 million, around that number.
100 million US dollars per year. Great. All right. Thank you. So, Pak Jin, what do you think? As the
100,000, sorry.
100,000 per dollars per year.
100,000.
100,000, yeah, sorry.
So that's 1.5 million
Yes.
over 15 years.
Yeah.
Great. And then
Around.
after that, everything goes back to BAKTI. Okay. All right. What do you think, Pak Jin, so far? So you're part of the service provisioning arm. You can bid for the remaining 140 gigabits capacity. What do you think of this arrangement so far?
Yeah, actually, this is a very good initiative, yeah, that is triggered by BAKTI. So if we are talking about the going digital, everybody is talking about digital at this moment, because we need to leverage whatever available in terms of the technology of digital. And the most important one here is the infrastructure. And if we are talking about Indonesia, the infrastructure that is really needed at this moment, especially to reach the rural area, is the satellite communication, right? Satellite communication with the, of course, the high bandwidth also, yeah. And by having this SATRIA, actually, this is really well prepared by BAKTI to provide the system to accommodate that requirement that needed. Yeah. So it's a right path already done by BAKTI, and especially for a service provider, satellite communication is just one of the solution that we offer, actually, that we serve, yeah, to the customer. We also have a terrestrial one, like fiber optic, and also broadband wireless and other things. Yeah. But especially if we are talking about BAKTI, they try to reach those areas which not commercially visible, basically, for the operator to go there. Many challenges, actually, and the cost is very high. And yeah, basically this is not commercially visible, and we are supporting this one as well. So while waiting for the SATRIA, actually at this moment we have already started to build to transmit some signal in the rural area. So it's already being initiated also few years back by BAKTI. The signal that we provide is either the cellular signal as well as the Wi-Fi one. So of course, with the capacity of the satellite that is available at this moment on top of our sky, Indonesia sky, I mean, it's very limited. And technology that is available also is not being able to provide the very high capacity in this case, yeah. And that's why the coming SATRIA satellite will give a very big opportunity to provide the connection to the rural area with a higher bandwidth. So the technology that will be used by SATRIA will make all of these requirement coming happen, yeah. So this is the comment from the service point of view, Jose.
Okay, great. So you touched on a very good point, bandwidth. There's constraints right now, and we agree based on the research we've done. SATRIA is, I believe, 150 gigabits per second. And if I'm doing the math correctly, 150,000 locations gives you about 1 megabit per second throughput per site. Is that correct, Pak Aradea?
Yes, yes, correct.
Okay. Is that going to be enough given the applications that are emerging today and emerging in the future? Are there plans to launch more capacity via BAKTI or open up the market so that other players can progress the supply to scale from 1 megabits per second per site to perhaps 10 megabits per second per site?
Yes, what you're saying is correct, Jose, about in one premises only going to serve around 1 megabyte per second, right? So I think in our point for right now, it's not going to be enough for the premises to having only 1 megabyte per second. So in another mission in Ministry of IT, we're going to add on the capacity of SATRIA. So we have a planning to build SATRIA 2 and SATRIA 3. So maybe there, so the mission is going to add on the capacity. So right now it's open to the market. So whatever in a local or maybe foreign operator is going to be shipping some idea to how can we add on the capacity in this 150,000 premises.
All right. So so SATRIA 2 and 3, would that have the same capacity as SATRIA 1, 150 gigabits per second as well, or even higher?
Now we're planning to have a bigger capacity on SATRIA 2. So with all the new technology satellites coming up right now, the possibility that we're going to achieve around 350 gigabyte in SATRIA 2, or maybe for SATRIA 3 is around 500 gigabyte. So that's still in our thought to think about.
Okay. All right. So of the 2.3 billion budget, which is large, billion-dollar budget, do you expect that investment to have a return, or it's basically a subsidy for rural areas to get high-speed connectivity? You expect to get your money back, or not really?
For us, the money back to the government? Like I was saying before, that this project was initiated by the government to serving for public services. So at the beginning, we only think that as long that 150,000 premises going to be served by the internet, whatever the solution it is, it's good to us. It's going to be good to us. So maybe at the future, if that premise is going to can be monetized by everyone, maybe we're going to take the share profit with that premises.
Okay, but for now, it's a government program similar to what the US FCC is doing.
Yes.
The Aradea program. Okay, excellent. All right. And for you, Pak Dani, does the business case close for you? $1.5 million over 15 years to operate the satellite and then reverts back to BAKTI. Does that close for you, or is this a public service initiative on your part as well?
I think as a commercial company, so of course we also think about that we will get the profit or benefit from this program. So based on our business plan that 1.5 million rupiah a year, it can close this project, but it is not that much. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So more of a mix between commercial viability and public service.
Yeah.
So having said that, Pak Jin, so it's not really it's commercially viable, but it's not high premium margins. Would that affect your strategy going forward in terms of participating in the ecosystem for the BAKTI program, and over time, or generally speaking, in closing the digital divide for Indonesia?
Yeah. Actually, for the service provider like Lintasarta, when we support BAKTI to provide the internet access to the rural area, at the beginning, yes, we are talking about the end-to-end solution. Yeah, I mean, what we prepare is starting from the ground segment, also from the satellite segment, until the internet connection into the upstream. Yeah, but yeah, when we talk about end-to-end services, last time we yes do all the business case calculation based on the whole things. Yeah. But recently there's a new strategy for deploying this network from BAKTI. They split between the ground segment and the satellite segment. Yeah. So that it's kind of the separation between these two. And if we are talking about later, moving forward with the SATRIA, of course, then the service provider will be focusing on the ground segment only. And the costs or that occurred for the satellite is covered by BAKTI. Yeah. And I think the rest, if we are talking and then calculate about the ground segment, so far we have already done also this kind of models with the existing scheme. Yeah. So yeah, fortunately this is still okay. So I believe also for the future it will be more or less same approach, same model, but maybe the numbers will be different because the new technology will be coming, and the band also will be new and so on. So there will be some adjustment, I believe, there. But if you look at the model that will be adopted also later with the SATRIA one, I think I believe that this is also will be feasible commercially for the service provider also to provide the solution. Jose.
Okay, if I'm hearing this correctly, or maybe I'm interpreting it hopefully correctly, if you compare pure commercial customers on a VSAT platform that has a certain ARPU, when you go to the BAKTI program for digital divide, the cost or the ARPU to you will be lower, much lower, or?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, at this moment, for the other customer, we provide always end-to-end. Yeah. I mean, starting from the ground segment, space segment, and everything, because the private sector, they don't want to get headache also to rent their own capacity of the satellite, right? They just want to have, okay, for the VSAT solution, whether rural or in the city also, then, okay, with a certain bandwidth, okay, certain rupiah, let's say. We take care of the whole things. They just need to plug in and connect into the internet or any specific destination, right? But with BAKTI at this moment, okay, we are focusing on the what you call it, the ground segment only, while the satellite segment is served differently by the other operator that provide the capacity. Actually, Lintasarta is also contribute on that space at this moment. Yeah. But if we are talking about the profitability of the when we provide the service for BAKTI compared to the other market, I think this is more or less same as the market rate, yeah, that we have. I mean the margin and so on. But even sometimes for BAKTI is very marginal, and then because it's in the rural area where the deployment and also the operation is quite challenging, yeah, compared to the others that is in the city. But this is part of us also to contribute for our nation to serve the government, and as long as this is we can still what we call it, support, and we also doing this one well. So so far, if I'm simple word, I say that in terms of the profitability for the service provider, this is yeah, more or less the same with the others, comparable.
That's great news. So you have a government initiative, you commercialize the service. From the operator and service provider point of view, the margins are the same, and it's really a commercial play that's being anchored on BAKTI. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Aradea, you mentioned that a lot of capacity will be demanded, and there are going to be more satellites launched, procured, operated, but you need more. So does that open up Indonesia for the BAKTI program to foreign operators as well? Pacific, Intelsat, upcoming Starlink, Kuiper, etc. Is that the case? Is Indonesia wide open in terms of serving BAKTI and other digital divide initiatives within your country?
Yes, correct, Jose. Yeah, for us, we always complying with the good governments, right? So we like to invite everyone to do our project, of course. Like we already have the Pacific capacity right now. It's around almost 5.5 gigabyte that we buy from Pacific for serving around almost maybe 10,000 premises right now. So I think the market is going to be looking at this point is an opportunity, right? So regarding to the either a local or foreign operator is free to play. We're creating the same battlefield right now for the market.
So is there a preference for local operators first, or it's a level playing field? Whoever has the best solution, the best price wins the contract, or how does
it? I think in every country that we have a policy that's going to protect our entity, right? Our in this case, the satellite operator, in local satellite operator. So I think in our regulation right now, whoever foreign operator that want to be participating in our project need to be at least as a consortium or sub-construction with the local operator satellite.
Okay, there has to be some kind of local presence.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think of that arrangement, Dani? So it seems like BAKTI is looking at a very competitive environment, opening up the market in order to get supply in. Regulations will be freer, but there's local presence, consortiums, etc. How do you see that arrangement from a PSN's point of view?
I think it is a good policy. So we have to be fair to the international market, let's say. And beside that, also the Indonesian satellite operator also has limited resources. One of these resources is the orbital slot. This is the important factor when we have to do the satellite business. So I think, instead of only just giving a fair play, but also I don't think that the Indonesian satellite operator can fulfill the requirement from BAKTI, as just Pak Aradea said that probably BAKTI need approximately 1 more terabit per second. So I don't think that it can be provided by Indonesian satellite operators. So even PSN also willing to what we call it, to cooperate with the international player to give services to BAKTI.
All right, thank you. Pak Aradea, is there a regulation where you have to have a gateway in country so that the signal comes in and out in the local location, or can gateways be located elsewhere? Or is it a provision that has to be in the region?
Okay. So right now we on the discussion in the government about what is called to change the policy of the satellite industry. So I think if we're talking about the gateway position of gateway, have to be in Indonesia, because we don't know if we're talking about the security of the government right now can be delivered or not. So in the future, if for example we going to put the gateway in Malaysia, maybe. So if we have some diplomatic issues, we cannot control that kind of issue. So it's going to be impact to our network, right? So but in the future, I think we're going to figure it out how to do the with this situation. So like our new program, least capacity 2 that PSN and Lintasarta joining with the BAKTI project. So like PSN having the gateway outside Indonesia, that we figure out that we'll be complying with our project too. So I think it's a matter of a different issue. It's a political issue or technical issue. So as long as it's being complied to our guideline or our mission, I think it's going to be okay if you're going to build a gateway outside Indonesia.
Okay. All right, Pak Jin, does that present some challenges for you, or it seems like it's open skies? You know, local and international players can come in, but the signal has to land and distributed within Indonesia. From a service provider point of view, is that a constraint to business, or it's not really an issue for you?
Okay, so for service provider, because we use capacity of the satellite to provide the total solution. Actually, for us there is no such an issue. Either the satellite is belong to national Indonesia, or belong to the foreign country. For commercially, for the service provider like Lintasarta, as long as the quality is good, which is the ERP and other things is quite okay to serve the whole Indonesia, and also then the price is very attractive in this case, and then and also the coordination is quite good. And of course, there is especially if they must have the landing right, because we comply also to the government rule. Then it's okay for us to serve the customer in Indonesia, either for the government and also for the private sector. So, but sometimes also there is a request to have the satellite, what we call it, position, or the band that is used, and some other requirement, and this is defined by the customer actually. Same government also doing that one, and also the private sector also. If they'd like to have the new the higher availability, let's say they prefer to use the C-band and so on, they state it. So as long as the satellite doesn't matter belong to whom, whether to Indonesian company or a foreign company, and as long as they can fulfill that one, for us we can use it. And we understand for BAKTI is also everything that is a more what we call it more attractive or more optimized for the rural solution, then it will be also adopted. So what I understand so far, there is no such limitation, either that one is to belong to the foreign or Indonesian satellite, to provide the solution. So I think that so far what I understand, and then we experience, this is fairly in the market. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's up to the satellite operator to take care of the landing rights if they need a gateway.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Correct. As long as they give you a good price, a good service,
yes.
SLA requirements from the customer, that's fine. Great. Okay.
Yeah, and the coverage also, and so on. Yes.
Okay. All right. So far, so again, our title is Indonesia, a template for bridging the digital divide. So far, the takeaways I have at least is that there's a budget coming from the government being run by BAKTI, a fairly substantial amount of 2.3 billion. It's open skies policy, partnering with PSN to run the satellite, and all service providers are welcome to absorb and distribute that capacity for services, in rural areas, whether it's narrowband, wideband, or broadband. And the only limitation I think I see is that the signal has to run to Indonesia via gateway, but that seems to be acceptable. That's how things have been run for decades now. Am I missing something in terms of looking at this template, or it's fairly straightforward, and this is how you go about bridging connectivity problems in the country? Am I missing something?
Yeah, I think it's quite correct what you're saying.
Okay. All right. So it seems like a fairly simple template, right? Get the government to initiate demand, the program, involve the private sector, relax the regulations, let foreign and local companies come in, and that's how you provision services. Yep. And the benefit is that you get very good price points because of the competition.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, also because Indonesia is, as mentioned by Pak Dani also before, consists of I think more than 7,000 islands, yeah, and all of those things will be reached by the terrestrial solution, the transmission to get the internet done there. So satellite communication is played a very important role in this case, yeah. And I think BAKTI has already have very good initiative. I think the road to give the access for the rural citizen, yeah, so that they will not be late or missing in the information or digital era at this moment, yeah. So by having this one, I think will hopefully Indonesia in general also can increase the economic and social in the rural area, same as in the other area that is reachable commercially by the internet. Yeah. So this is very important, Jose.
Okay, thank you for that. Before I move to the next topic of applications, one final one for Pak Dani. So we've heard that competition will be there. Indonesia will open up the market to all players. You're going to get a lot of technologies at play. Starlink with LEO systems will come in, maybe Kuiper, the power behind Amazon, etc. How does that affect your business case? So one, I think prices will have to come down in terms of megabits per second pricing, right? And then value-added services and adding value to maintain, if not increase the ARPU, will be challenging. How do you see these challenges going forward from a local operator perspective, Pak Dani?
Sorry, I'm muted. Okay, just want to give the information given by Aradea that about the when you asking about the out country gateways.
Mhm.
So I think that is possible, but I think the regulation now is the IP has to be coming from in country. So the RF probably can transmit from a other country, but the IP has to be coming from Indonesia. And also one more important thing is I think about the satellite control station. Uh, at least the backup or correct me if I'm wrong, Pak Aradea, has to be located in Indonesia. That's one of the requirement when we have a SATRIA bidding. So about the competition with other satellite system like Starlink or others constellation coming from MEO, LEO, I think that there is a difference between these two system. When more we need more bandwidth, then I think the geo system is the best way to provide the capacity. But when we talking about the latency, then yes, the LEO will be has more advantage. So it is depend on the capacity. So I mean it is depend on the requirement. So whether we need the latency or we need more capacity. So yeah, we can say that for the broadband density is geo is better than the LEO.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Can I
Matt,
ask the Dani statement about why government choosing the geo solution above the rest? I think what Dani say is correct. We're talking about the scattered place premises that we have right now. The rural area is very scattered, right? And as we know that our village is not having a good electricity right now. When we're doing the LEO or MEO, the ground segment is going to be costly high. So, and the electricity is not going to be comply with the system. So I think right now is a great decision from us to choosing the geo solution. But at the future, who knows that when the LEO or MEO is going to be, of course, like Padani said, the latency is going to be great, right? So we're still open to the future about choosing the correct solution for the satellite.
great. Okay. All right. Thank you. So competition-wise, it's geo right now. That's the pick. So Pak Dani, you're not too worried yet. So good springboard to the next topic. So when we talk about applications, and you did mention this, when you compare geo and MEO or LEO, it's latency that's different. In terms of applications, Pak Aradea, today and moving forward, where do you see applications taking place? And do you see a shift from satellite solutions to, for instance, software-defined satellites, LEO systems, etc.? Is there an evolution of applications within your 15-year horizon that will lead you to tweak the BAKTI program going forward?
Yes, for sure, Jose. So right now, the evolution of the application that we have. So you mentioned about the software-defined satellite, LEO constellation, and everything else. From the government point of view, as long as in the end of the day, they're going to be giving us the best solution and the efficient price to us, we're going to take it. So it's mean, like I mentioned before, the calculation for the other solution like Leo regarding to the ground segment in another business case from our point of view, it's not going to be matched with our budgetary problem in the government side. So I think I want to invite all the market out there if there have a good solution and linear with the efficient budget, please tell us about that solution. So I think what Pak Dani says is true. From now, maybe for now, the business case is not going to be jeopardized by that. So don't be worried about that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, Pak Jin, put you on the spot here. So do you agree? Geo is the solution today, and maybe for the foreseeable future, or looking at the applications that you're running, I know that you're looking at cloud services, right?
Yeah.
And when you look at cloud, latency is becoming, and security is becoming quite, very high on the list for requirements. So what do you think?
Actually, yes. Actually, all the things is back to the what kind of the use case. Yeah. Yeah. Really need to see what is the use case that will be exist there. So just an example. If we are a gamer like Pak Aradea, yeah. So if we are talking about the gaming here, so must be the latency that is very important, right? Because he need to strike and things, and then this is need to be quick, yeah. Otherwise, he will be killed first before he killed somebody, yeah. So it's going to be very late. And also many other application that is very sensitive in terms of the latency. That's why on these things, then it's more suitable using the Leo or MEO, yeah. But to be honest, if we are talking about the latency, although this is the Leo or MEO, but still it's not comparable with the fiber optic, yeah. And I think practically, rather than choosing the Leo or MEO, then maybe try to push this one on the fiber optic. Yeah. So that if you look at the use case here, that is the case that is faced by the BAKTI at this moment, it's more on the providing the internet solution for the rural area. The internet, it typically just need to have the higher bandwidth more compared to the latency. I mean, if we, the website, let's say, can pop up a little bit late, it's okay. But all the information is there, right? Even video also, maybe it's a little bit on buffering at the beginning, but the rest of this one will be continue, and then no problem, right? And I think because the goal of the BAKTI is to provide the internet internet solution to increase the economic social in the region, and then they can have access the information by having the information on the text based, voice based, or video based. And that one, the right choice that have been taken by the BAKTI to use geo satellite at this moment, yeah. But for the other things, the private sector, yeah, let's see. I mean, depend on the use cases. That is whether that one later coming into Leo or MEO is more than just the geo. So I think for the government to serve the rural area for the internet connection only at this moment, it's more, it's a good enough to use the geo at this moment. So that is from my point of view, Jose.
Okay, just follow up, Pak Jin. So so if I'm hearing you correctly, if you're looking at the BAKTI program and connecting 150,000 rural locations,
Yes.
GEO is quote unquote good enough.
Yep.
But if you're going to go to other enterprise verticals like energy, mining, even military, that's where latency, security, and maybe the LEOs have an advantage. But if you're looking at digital divide, then go with the good enough solution first.
Yep. Yeah. We'll check for that one, yeah. Later, when all of those things are available, we need to calculate all the things. It's not only the commercial part, yeah, but in terms of the other thing as well, the connectivity, how the gateway will be, whether in here or outside, and so many factors later on depend on the model that will be axis of those MEO and LEO. But nevertheless, it also depends on the government, because we just follow the regulation that will be stated by the government, whether this will be allowed or not allowed by regulation, yeah, to have a landing right here. So we are going to comply also to that one. But in terms of the technical and commercial, we are going to assess all those things, which one is the more suitable also for the certain use case, as I mentioned before, for the private sector, yeah, like the oil and gas, and then the other industry as well. Yeah, so something like at this moment, there are still many ATM connection using VSAT, yeah. Whether that one is good enough using the MEO or LEO, or it's just using the GEO. Then we are going to compare this one also, the plus and minus, and we are going to adopt which one is the best one for us for those special use case as well.
All right. Back, Aradea, do you see the use cases evolving where, LEOs become compelling? So if they come to you and say, I have a LEO program, I can land my signal in Indonesia, I have a gateway, I'll give you an attractive price, I'll give you latency, I'll give you security, and I can compete head-on with better services with GEO. Would this be something to consider later on? Or are you sticking with GEO as the plan?
No, of course. Like I'm saying before, that we still open with all the solution, as long the business case is going to be complying with our budgetary wise. So I think if we're talking about the SATRIA one, it's been a leapfrog, okay, giant step for us to choosing the STS satellite, that big STS satellite, right? So if somebody come to us and offering the real business case with the LEO or MEO, and good enough for us, I think we going to hard consideration about that solution, right?
Okay. All right. Well, interesting discussion so far. We're at 55 minutes already, so we have 5 minutes to go. Before closing statements, to summarize again, in terms of bridging Indonesia's digital divide, get government stimulus in terms of funding, open up the regulations so local and international players come in, level the playing field, and get the private enterprise sector really involved. So in terms of what's the most important thing in bridging the digital divide, not just for Indonesia, but for other countries as well, is it A, regulations, B, government funding, C, technology solutions, or D, private sector involvement, or E, all of the above? Let's start with Aradea.
I think it's a easy answer. It's a E, but so with all ABC in line, I think the market is going to be hassle to take the project to be a solution for the digital divide, right? So from the government point of view, we're going to take care we're going to be renewal our regulation to be more relaxing, and hopefully all the stakeholder out there is going to be interesting to our new project, in the future project.
Okay, so all these things, all four elements have to come into play.
Yeah.
And if one is missing, it doesn't work. Pak Dani, your thoughts?
I'm muting again. Okay. I think what government of Indonesia doing now is the good solution for solving the digital divide, and also it is the what we call it make the market more live, because even though government provide the internet service on the one particular area, but we still believe that the bandwidth provided by the government is not enough. So we can still serving the market and at the same area with our broadband retail. So PSN is not only the satellite operator, but we also the VSAT provider. So in our case, we still can provide the market using our retail broadband, and you will be surprised because some of the area has the ARPU around $300 per month. So, but the other area is not that good. So it is depend on the area. So it is good.
Okay. Right, Pak Jin, do you need
Okay.
all four elements
Yeah.
to success? Or?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because this is a one ecosystem that need to be supported by all the stakeholder inside the ecosystem. You know, so if this is only done by the one of these, I think it will not work. At least it will not work well. Yeah. So I think if this is want to be working well, so all the stakeholder must be get insist in this project. Yeah. So agree with everybody here that we need to hand in hand together to support in this one. But yes, the government is also playing the very important role to initiate and become the orchestrator also for all of those things. Yeah, how we move forward later to support, especially the our friends in the rural area, yeah, the 3T area. So that one from my view, Jose.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Pak Jin. So I'll stay with you for your closing statement. What would you like to tell your colleagues in Indonesia and their friends across the world in terms of being the service provider that's involved in the Indonesian Digital Divide program being run by BAKTI? Pak Jin?
Oh, me first. Okay, usually Pak Aradea first. So I didn't expect that you asked me first. Okay, anyway.
Our last word.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you. I think we need to give all the chance for everybody in Indonesia, Indonesia citizen, whether they are in the city or in the rural area. So we need to give the equal facility for them to access the digital world, basically. So that we hope by having these things, we can grow together, yeah, for the whole Indonesia citizen in the city, rural area as well. And thanks to government who has already seen this one widely and broadly and provide any solution. Although for the area that is commercially is not visible for any operator, yeah, who always thinking about the profitability to support the services, but thanks to government has already seen this one and then give the same opportunity for the rural area citizen also to have the access to the digital world. And we commit as a service provider to support the government initiative for Indonesia better in the future. Thank you, Jose. That is my closing statement.
Thank you, Pak Jin. Pak Dani, your turn.
I think PSN as a preferred company, we really support the government program. And as a satellite operator and also service provider, what we need to do is just to reduce the cost of bandwidth. So dollar per megabit per second has to be reduced as minimum as possible. And also as a service provider, we have to reduce the DID, the delivery, installation, and dismantle, because this DID is the major portion for the servicing the area such as Indonesia, which is sometimes it is very difficult to reach this area. So if we can reduce those two things, megabit per second and also the DID, then we will help the government to provide the services to close the digital divide, and also helping us, the satellite operator and also the service provider, in order to make, even though it is remote area, but still there is a profit even though it is small. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Dani. And finally, Pak Aradea, your closing statement, please.
Yeah, okay. I just want to say that Pak Gin is already saying about the unserved people. That I just want to close my statement for the market outside and inside Indonesia. So I just remember about what Terry Blakely started saying, that I quote, that when the God created Indonesia, he must love the operator supply. So it means it's still a lot area that can be served in Indonesia. So BAKTI and the government of Indonesia is only the catalyst right now. What it means being catalyst? So we're serving what is called public services only, right? So how about the villagers around the public services? So that's the market right now. So I like to invite all the people, all the stakeholders in the satellite business, that it's still, we have still a long way to go to serving all the people in Indonesia, and the market is still there. So please give us the solution, the best technical solution, and the right efficient money that you can give to us. That's my solution. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Congratulations already. I must say this is quite a program, $2.3 billion in funding. That's quite a feat. So congratulations to BAKTI, and good luck with your future endeavors in bridging the digital divide in Indonesia. Good luck as well, Pak Dani of PSN, Pak Jin of Lintasarta. And thank you so much for joining us in our webinar. We look forward to further updates with the BAKTI program in Indonesia as a whole. And have a good rest of your day. And we'll speak to you soon. Please do join us for future webinars. We will look at digital divide initiatives and private sector topics as well. So please stay tuned to APSCC for future webinars. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much for that, Jose, and thank you for plugging the rest of the series. We currently have about 2,000 registrants for the series and probably more than 5,000 views of the overall series since we began this this year in January. So delighted to have you all here to join us for this session. Delighted also to have Pak Dani from PSN, to have Pak Aradea from BAKTI, and Pak Gin from Lintasarta to also join us today for the panel discussion. And as Jose said, there's a lot more to come. So please do join us again. We're playing these out every Tuesday is the live play out at 9 o'clock Hong Kong time, Hong Kong, Singapore time. If you want to, though, you obviously don't have to be here then. You can watch them on demand. Just make sure you're registered at APSCCSat.com. APSCCSat.com is the home of the webinar series. You'll also be able to look at not just previous iterations of the series, but also what's coming up on the schedule. So please do join us. Thanks again, and we look forward to seeing you next time.